Welcome, everybody. I'm so excited that we have a chance to create these little Kindred groups. I think that for me, I'm having a really hard time navigating through what camp could look like this summer or not look like, or how do I keep all these balls in the air as the world is totally different and constantly changing. And 3 or 4 years ago, I can't remember now, Kurtz and I started the Summer Camp Society with this idea that we could meld growing together in groups online for camp directors. And it hasn't been perfect, and it's been rocky, and it's rockier now than ever because nobody knows what this industry is going to look like a year from now, 3 years from now, 10 years from now. But what better way to work together than to come together and talk about not only the logistics, but also how are we feeling? What do we need, not just as camps, but as individuals? And so that's how we're thinking about these Kindred groups. How can we come together to push the entire movement that is summer camp forward across the country or across the world? And this video is really about how can we illuminate some of the hidden curriculum? How can we understand what we're getting into in these groups? So we're all starting from a similar place. We're all starting from kind of an understanding of what's going to happen. So I'm Jack Schott. I'm here with Sarah Kurtz-McKinnon, Jason Smith, and Anna Hopkins. You're going to meet all of them in a second as they walk through what these Kindred groups are going to look like. It's going to be hopefully 10 minutes. And Kurtz.
Yeah, so we had about 300 people sign up for Kindred groups, and most of them signed up for, well, I'd say more than half of them signed up for more than one group. So we went through and hand placed everyone in groups according to type of camp, personal availability, and topic preference. And most groups are organized to have around 9 to 14 people and a Zoom host. So that's a volunteer who's there to keep things going, to help you out, and to also pose questions to the group. So in the email that you just got, I've explained all the logistics about how to log in and all that type of stuff. What you need to know is that it's important that you make time for this and you show up consistently however you can. We also recognize that things happen and you might have small children at home or an internet outage or whatever, and we'll be forgiving of each other if we can't make our commitment. But one of our expectations is that these groups are consistent each week so that you can build connections and really build on the work that you're doing together. So when you meet for the first time, you'll have a chance to set your own expectations and norms for the group. The big expectations and norms that we have are that these are discussion groups and they're for idea generation. So they are not for legal advice or for anything of that nature. So before you make a big decision or a small decision about your program, talk to your supervisor, talk to your lawyers, talk to your insurer. Don't just take it from us or from other people on the internet that signed up for these groups. That being said, we hope you do get a lot of ideas to bring to your stakeholders and decision makers and to ponder yourself so you can make sure that your program thrives despite this time of uncertainty. So every week your Zoom host is going to get an email from us that poses some discussion questions and an outline of what you can talk about this week. Your group may morph and do something a little bit different from what we recommend, but the support that we provide is the Zoom structure, the room host, and topics, guidance for each week's discussions to make sure that you get a lot out of it. So Anna, can you talk a little bit more about how we like people to show up in Zoom when we do Summer Camp Society events?
Yeah, totally. We've all gotten a little bit more experience on Zoom lately than we did before, right? So some of us might know most of these things, but also some people might be totally new to Zoom, and that's fine too. There's a few things that we have always done with the Summer Camp Society to make Zoom effective. The most important one is muting your mic when you're not talking. It really helps keep us focused on the one voice that is front and center. And even if you think your space is quiet, it might not be super quiet. And this is also, if you're someone who likes to move and you're spending a lot of time in Zoom meetings, I've even occasionally called in on the phone. It's not quite as good as having video, but you can call in the phone and keep yourself muted and go for a walk around the block or something if that's something you need. Just remember that, you know, the muting capability lets that be possible. We also believe in really active chat boxes in the Summer Camp Society. It's a great place to drop links that are helpful, to let someone know that you really appreciated their feedback. You can chat to everyone in the group, or if you don't know how yet, you can select in your chat box, you can select to message one person directly, which can also be useful if you want to follow up with someone in the group. Something else that is really useful when we're meeting with people we sort of know is to name yourself. You can see that I have named myself with my camp and my pronouns. Oh, and everyone else did too. Amazing. You rename yourself in your box by hitting your little 3 dots. You hover over your image in your where your face shows up, hit little 3 dots, and you can hit rename. And that's a great place to help people keep track. When we're meeting a lot of new folks, it's really useful to have people's names there. We also do popcorning in Summer Camp Society, which is where if you want someone else to go, especially if we're doing kind of check-ins or answering a question, it can kind of be tricky to go in order in Zoom because we actually show up in different orders. The boxes are in different positions on everyone's screen. So it helps if you call on someone else's name, and I think it also helps us get everyone involved in the conversation. Some of us are a little more likely to hop in early and talk a lot, but by calling on someone else when you're done, it can help the group move along. So those are some of the Zoom capabilities that we have loved through Summer Camp Society. It's been cool to see the rest of the world discover Zoom more because the Summer Camp Society has been using it to make friendships and professional connections for a while. So it's cool to see it becoming more mainstream. And Jason is going to talk to us a little bit about some more framing for these groups and what we're hoping to get out of them beyond just the functional how-tos.
Yeah, we just wanted to make sure you had some ideas in mind about how to think about what these groups really are. And they are really just a space for support and encouragement and connection. So if you're anticipating that you're going to show up and somebody's going to be at the head of the classroom and is going to give you all of the answers, that's really not what's going to be happening here. We don't have all the answers. We definitely don't have them for your camp. We have a lot of people who are really, really smart in a lot of different places, and you're one of those people. And we're going to have you share and get together with people. And we're also want to do this from a space of recognizing that this is really hard and this is really challenging emotionally and personally as well as professionally. And so that's why we want to be there for each other. In order to do that, we do need to have a space that is sort of confidential so people can feel comfortable sharing some things about decisions that are being made by their coworkers and in their organization that they are working through as we find the right path through this. So we're going to ask for people to make sure we maintain that confidentiality while we're on these calls and everything, and also outside of them. And what this all means is that there's going to be people in your calls who are going to be making different choices for their camps than you end up making for your camp. This summer, whatever that means. Well, the biggest one, obviously, operating, non-operating, modifications, things like that. Some people on these calls might choose one path and some people might choose another. Those choices we're going to trust are the right choices for your camp and your population. And we're going to be walking together through this on a path of figuring out those choices, not dictating what they need to be or judging other people for the choices that they're making. So those are some things that we'd like you to think about as you kind of approach being a member of these communities. Jack, I think what we need now is just some overall goals maybe from you on final thoughts. So take it away.
Thanks, Jason. Thanks, Anna. Thanks, Kurtz. I will admit I'm pretty scared about what the world looks like today, tomorrow, in the future, and I'm really scared about summer camp. I believe that summer camp is maybe the most powerful force for good around being able to bring kids together and give them a chance to figure out who they want to be and take care of themselves and others, maybe in the world. And right now, many of us are faced with a decision about whether we can do that. Schools are closed. I know I'm looking at for Stomping Ground. Can we run camp? I don't know. But what I do know is that when we can get together, whether it's virtually or in person, camps are what we need right now more than ever before. Kids are stuck in their houses. They're lonely. They're unable to practice all the things that you are the best at facilitating in the world at camp. And what I'm hoping for from these groups, the reason why we've built this little system and thrown it together, and you're experiencing it as a big mistake-filled chance with us, is that we need camp. Like, the world needs camp. Kids need to be able to go to camp. And coming together like this is the best we can do to help each other figure out how to get through this. So each individual camp can be the most successful in 2020, in 2021, in 2035. I hope that we all get to laugh and cry together, some maybe on Zoom or maybe together, around like how this worked, what we didn't know, and what we did learn together, and hopefully make a few friends along the way that can help us do that. So thank you all so much for being a part of this. I think it really matters, and the work you do really matters and is going to change the world, even just one tiny bit at a time. So thank you.